Good evening and welcome to Softball HQ here at West Beach, and tonight I'm joined to you with Lee Hull and the big clash tonight between the Port Adelaide Magpies and the Sturt Falcons. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you, James. Excuse me, a much improved Port Adelaide side. Since those draws with West Torrens, haven't looked back.
Yep, so these two teams have only met the once earlier in this season, and it was Sturt a resounding victory 12-2, but both teams are different teams come the middle of the season, which we're approaching. Port Adelaide have, of course, got the inclusion of their dynamic duo, Vicky McFarland and Mckenzie Thompson.
Yes, there's a couple of changes for Port Adelaide from their normal starting nine. The two players going out, Georgia Murphy and Maddie Matchy, both young players. They have the school formal at the Seton High School tonight, so I'm sure they're all done up to the tee, and they've been replaced by Ella Forrester and Kelsey Barker.
A couple of young Dragons players as well.
Yes, exactly.
So coming into the side for Port Adelaide. Now let's quickly talk about Mckenzie Thompson. She is the pitcher for Port Adelaide, but she can swing the stick as well. She's had 5 hits from her 10 plate appearances so far this year.
Yes, a powerful. I haven't seen her play. I haven't had that pleasure at the moment, James, but I soon will. Powerful, structured girl, and I'm sure she can give the ball a really whack.
Now let's go have a look at Sturt Falcons. Now their lineup is pretty much full strength.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they can improve too much on it from what we've seen throughout the season so far. So a few young players on the bench as well, so they're getting opportunities normally late in the game.
So you generally find that if you've got a state representative in your team, the Stars players, they're generally the best players in the competition, and you can't get any better than the top 5 for Sturt. Belinda White, Maddie Cameron, Tash Strap, Sarah Tonkin.
As good as they come, aren't they? They're as good as they come. And Ada Brinket-Tree. Yeah, good start for a side, isn't it? You can work people in around them.
All right, let's get one quick tip from you, Lee.
I'm going for Sturt by 1 run.
It's going to be a close game tonight here at Adelaide Shores. Stick around. We've got the Falcons going up against the Magpies.
Rushes it. This is back. Will it go? It's over the outfielder. 1 run's going to score. It's a 2.
We're about ready to get underway here at Softball HQ for the big clash between the Sturt Falcons and the Port Adelaide Magpies. Mckenzie Thompson pitching for the Port Adelaide Magpies tonight, and she delivers the first pitch high outside the zone for ball 1. Joining me tonight is Lee Hull. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you, James, and it's a pleasure to be here on what I would consider a beautiful night playing conditions wise.
Absolutely still, a little bit of cloud cover, maybe a spot or 2 of rain. Hopefully it stays away. So Ada Brinket-Tree leading off for Sturt, and that's ball 2.
And what a great lead-off she is. What a great lead-off she is, and has been for a while now for Sturt.
Yeah, Ada's actually the form batter for the Falcons so far this season. She's hitting 500, and she's amongst the league leaders in hits and runs and walks, stolen bases, and an on-base percentage, Lee. Get this, 735.
I rest my case, James.
So just announced today, Stars representative, so this will be about the 12th year that she's represented the state. And there you go, she takes high for ball 4, and the Sturt Falcons have their lead off on.
Yes, and a dangerous player to have on early. Lead off, gets on, and she can run like the wind.
So Rachel Tonkin, second batter for the Falcons, and I think she's in that position, specialised short game.
Yes.
Takes a high pitch. Good throw going over from Contuso, but Brinket-Tree's just too good, isn't she, Lee? She's quick, yes. She knows how to slide, she knows how to go hard, and she's safe at second.
Yes, and now she's in the scoring position, as they say, and Rachel will be doing her part to get her around another base, at least 1. And much improved batter, I feel, this year, Rachel, from what I've seen in games.
Yeah, she she wasn't a starting player at the beginning of the season, but she fought her way in, and she's paid back the coaches.
Faith in her?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there you go. So the attempted bunt, and that actually puts her behind in the count with 1 ball and 2 strikes. After that first pitch was a called strike.
Yeah, looked to be a bit of a squeeze play on that. It was like a hit and run squeeze, but unable to put it into play. She's going again.
So gets bat onto ball, and Thompson's going to field that one over to Kasuzo at first base for the first out of the game. But you know what? She's done her job, Rachel Tonkin. She's moved Ada around to third, and with 1 out, Sarah Tonkin has an opportunity. Get this, Lee. Sarah Tonkin leading the league in RBIs. You wouldn't pick it, I wouldn't have thought.
No,
not
I wouldn't
with the
thought
talent
so.
in the competition, but don't put anything by her. She's a Stars representative herself.
Yes, yes. Very good player. Plays outfield, plays third, catches, doesn't catch in front of Bell, of course, but she'd be the next cab off the rank if Bell's away. And a very competent player at third base.
Good change of pace from Thompson. That puts Sarah Tonkin behind in the count early. I started on that because I was going to say Tonkin, but we've already seen a Tonkin earlier on tonight in Rachel, so the sisters batting 2 and 3 for the Falcons.
Yes, and the Port Adelaide Catuzos have done that before this season.
And another change of pace gives Thompson her first strike out of the game. And importantly for Port Adelaide, it's the second out of the inning, but you can't look twice because, or you can't look away, take your attention away from this lineup, because right behind Sarah Tonkin is Australian Spirit player Belinda White.
And following her in the on-deck circle, it's Maddie Cameron. We know how hard she can hit the ball.
Thompson keeps it outside and out of reach for White. Now, runner on third. You don't want to be pitching anything around the zone. Surely not.
No. Anything that lands, or even the deep sacrifice fly, is going to score.
Well, there you go. This change of pace on that one, just mixing it up from the start, and that's a good tactic against Belinda.
Mckenzie Thompson looks like she could pitch all day to me. Strength, she has strength. We saw the throw across to first base. It was going like a bullet.
There you go. Belinda White has a shot at that one, but it's gone foul. Lee, you mentioned Thompson and that she could go all day. Well, the big picture for the Magpies has a distinguished college career in the United States, and just recently she had a stunning season in Germany playing in Europe.
Well, there you are.
Low for ball 2, so that evens up the count. It's 2 and 2, and Thompson and White, it could go either way right now.
Yes, I think Bell's been having a real good look at what she's throwing.
She shortens up a little and grounds over to third base. That's Kelsey Barker at third base. We've seen her a couple of times this season playing in the outfield for the Magpies, but she does the job firing the ball across to Catuzzo for the third out of the inning, and Port Adelaide, Lee, have come out strong.
Yes, with the lead-off getting off on in Ada Brinket-Tree, and then getting the second on the allowed steal, and then getting the third, remained at third. So very good defensive effort from Port.
Now, just on our monitor at the moment, Lee, we've got the weather forecast and the radar. There is some cloud cover, but doesn't look like a normal West Beach breeze where it blows in off the coast. So perhaps we might get something from the north that's flying past Elizabeth as we speak, but hopefully it just blows out of range.
Yes, it's very still at the moment, so no wind. It needs wind to bring it up, and wind to take it away, of course, when the rain comes, if it does.
Yep, so special thanks to Spacequake Sports for that, Lee. They've just pulled up the vision of the radar, so tremendous coverage, as always, from Spacequake Sports.
Yes, and it's modern technology, isn't it? The Weather Bureau use it a lot in their meteorology reports. Not to say they're right every time.
All right, so as we see Tash Straps going through 5 warm-up pitches, I'll hand it over to you, Lee, and you can take us around the diamond.
Yeah, well, the battery, of course, is Tash Straps to Bell White. On the lines, it's Georgie Baker at first and Sarah Tonkin at third. And the pivots are Rachel Tonkin at second and Lauren Fleming at shortstop. And the outfield from left to right, Hannah 2 comes in, Maddie Cameron's at centre, and Ada Brinketree, of course, is at right field. Bench sitters, they have Jordan Lee, Millie Fidge, Abby Mossman, and Jasmine Strangland.
Well, they've got that young, exciting bench, haven't they, the Falcons? They've got the next generation of players. They're blooding them. They're giving them the opportunities, and they've been doing all right as well. There's a couple of them that have got a couple of hits, and
they've showed something at this level, and it'll take time, but given opportunity, you know what it's like, James. Given opportunity, you can create a pathway for yourself.
All right, talking about opportunities. Lead-off batter for the Magpies is Talia George. She's hitting .320, Lee. Just going under the radar from the left-hander's box. Just a short little poke of the ball to third base, but Sarah Tonkin is up to the task. She was fielding a bit shallower, so maybe even expecting the short play.
Yes, well, the lead-off hitter there in Talia George normally hits the ball down in the infield and takes her opportunity and her chance by beating the throw. But as you said, James, Sarah was in close.
Number 2 hitter is Kelsey Barker, and she's just popped it up. And although Sarah was there for the catch, Tash has pulled rank, so to speak, as the pitcher, and she's taken a comfortable catch in the end.
Yes, I think a lot of her father Ray's prowess has come to bear then.
Maybe
she said,
even Mel. Maybe even her mum Mel.
Yeah, and Mel, yeah.
Both very good pitchers.
Yep. I can remember the day when a lot of coaches wouldn't allow their pitchers to field the ball. Well, they're wearing a glove, I'd suggest.
Got to stay in the circle, right? That's what the saying is. Anyway, let's go to the next hitter for Port Adelaide, and it is the player that's taken the competition by storm, Vicky McFarlane. I was going to call her Victoria, but it's Vicky McFarlane. And Lee announced today she's going to be playing for the Stars.
Oh, that's fantastic. The girls will love her, and I'm sure she'll love the girls.
And she gets to a 3-0 count. Now, that's going to help the on-base average, Lee. It's ridiculous. I had to look twice at this. 875 on base, 818 batting average.
Well, I think she needs to lift the game, I think, James, by that.
Takes that one for the first strike. Now, in all seriousness, Lee, that's ridiculous. 9 hits from 11 at-bats.
Unheard of.
She's got a couple of walks as well. She hit a 2-run shot last weekend. There she goes. She keeps her hands back on the change of pace, but she can't get past the Aussie Spirit centre fielder. Maddie Cameron taking a great catch there at centre field, and that'll end the innings for the Magpies. So a pretty good start. It's close, it's tight. There's been some action already, and it's a 0-0 game. Looking
good. Well, McFarlane held her hands back, as you mentioned, James, and that's the sign of a quality player. Not just throwing arms and everything at the ball, but just waiting on the pace of the pitch and delivering.
Another look on the monitor of the weather that's coming in. Maybe that is going to hit us. But only looks like a little short burst. It might be breaking up as well. But let's stick with the action for now. And it's pretty still, so who knows? Maybe it'll disappear sooner rather than later. All right, so we didn't get a chance to go through the Port Adelaide defensive lineup. If you can do the honours there, Lee.
I can do. Playing at first base, it's Caitlin Cattuso. At third, it's Kelsey Barker. Shortstop is Megan Williams. Ella Forrester comes in at second. Outfield, left to right, Talia George, Vicky McFarlane, and Letitia Marionia. And the battery, of course, is Mckenzie Thompson to Emily Cattuso. Bench sitters, Charlize Callahan and Jodie Cates.
Well, it'll be exciting for young Callahan. I know she's played a couple of A-grade games, but for a 13, 14-year-old, a huge experience for her.
Fantastic.
Wednesday night softball here on Spacequake Sports. She gets her opportunity. I'm sure she'll take it with both hands. Now, up to bat now for Sturt Falcons. She took the last catch of that innings, Maddie Cameron. So also a Stars player announced today. That was a given, seeing as that she's in the Aussie Spirit team, and she'll lead the outfield for the Stars. and ably assisted by, you know, the likes of Jenny Dunn and Ada Brinketry, and as we've seen tonight, Victoria McFarland named as well. So what an absolute outstanding outfield.
And that section will take care of itself with those names you mentioned. They were unfortunate, the Stars, last season at the beginning of the year when the Stars were playing, because Jenny Dunn got hurt on the first day.
So it looks like Maddie Cameron's broken that ball with a foul ball. Could probably come off the end of the bat and taken a chunk out of the ball, but
Is it a ghost bat?
It certainly is, Lee.
Yes, well.
I'm pleased you've mentioned that. The Euston Ghost Bat, available at MC Sports. Grant and Ros will look after you there on Port Road in Woodville, and Maddie Cameron, along with Belle White, uses the Ghost Bat. Jordan Lambert uses the Ghost Bat. Three of the
big
Aussie
guns.
Spirits, the big guns. And crushes that ball foul down the left field line and towards the MC Sports sign in foul territory, and it sounds great off the bat, doesn't it? Just that crack. It's like a crack of thunder or lightning. It's.
I would expect change up here.
Well, she throws it very well, and she is ahead of the count at 2-2. So Cameron gets a small piece of the ball. The outfield's going to be deep for it. It's going to drop in for a single. So just chops at that one, but it was enough. You know, a half swing, a check swing, found the middle of the bat, and then dropped in the gap, because you've got to feel deep for Cameron, because if you give her an inch, you know, she'll put it over your head and she'll take extra bases.
Fence. Yes, it certainly will. No, that's totally, George couldn't do anything about that.
All right, so Falcons have their lead-off batter on base. Cameron gets a good lead. She looked quick out of the blocks there, Lee. She's been doing the sprint training with co-commentator Kathy Lambert.
Been going well,
fantastic
I think.
Program that she's running there for the girls. Well, up to bat,
Georgie Baker.
Georgie Baker. Now, she started the season off very well. Cameron steals. There's that speed we were talking about, Lee.
Yeah.
Well, how important is speed in this game, Lee? It's a small diamond. You've got, you know, less than 2 seconds to make a play. You know, otherwise the runner's going to get safe every time, and Cameron just shows off her speed.
And it puts so much pressure on the defence. You know, catcher's throw's got to be spot on. I've seen people steal successfully on Belle White's arm, and if you can do that, you know,
you're an asset to the team, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So Baker has a swing at that one, and the count's now even at 2-2 now.
She can hit the ball, Georgie.
Yeah, so I said that, I mentioned it, she started off the season quite well, so she's seen it all right. She, if I just go to my notes here, she's actually hitting quite well at 467.
Take that.
And, you know, that's, you know, the second best in the team. So it just adds just another offensive weapon for Coach Gardner, and she's just got so much depth. So she makes contact with the ball, but it's going to go foul to the right side. So Thompson's had her work cut out for her first two batters. Some, you know, seeing some pitches, hitting some foul balls, and you know, she'll want to get out of these innings reasonably quickly, particularly early on in the games, to leave something in the tank. She gets the standing strikeout, coming in hard and inside as well. And plate umpire Kevin Tannenbrink, very experienced, knows where the edges are, and rings her up. So that's Thompson's second strikeout, Lee.
Yep, and all you're going to do is ground out on those.
What a great pitch. Okay, Tash straps up now. Watches that first one down the middle for a strike, and Lee, Tash has had a very good junior career with the South Australian state team. She won a national pitching award a couple of years back in under-17. She won a national championship in the under-19 women's, made an Australian squad in the under-19s as well. And today, Lee, in her first year in the open age group, named in the Stars team.
Fantastic. That is fantastic. And that's full credit to her.
Absolutely, Lee. She's worked her heart out over the last few years. And she's earned her spot now. She won't get a starting pitching role, you wouldn't have thought, but you know, this stick of hers is quite handy, and you could see her learn, use this as a great experience, and you know, maybe get her opportunity on the plate.
It's a beautiful pitch, that one.
Yeah, very good pitch. Hopefully I haven't talked her up too much and put the mockers on her, Lee.
No, I don't think so, James.
Okay, Thompson into her motion at 2-2 and gets her hitter. So second strikeout in a row and the second out of the inning. Third strikeout for the game. So Thompson has started the season off pretty well, averaging about a strikeout an inning, 16 strikeouts in 17 innings. So she was always going to throw a couple today.
Composed, very composed on the pitching rubber, James. You just watch her stand there. There's nothing, no waste of energy. Just, I'll spend all my energy on the delivery.
So Hannah 2 up to bat now for the Falcons and gets herself in a good hitters count, 2-0. Now, she's got a good eye, Lee, and that helps when she's the goalkeeper for the Seymour Old Collegiate soccer team.
Oh, I see. That's where Ada Brinker-Tree had that nasty injury playing soccer, I believe, going back a couple of 3 years ago.
Yeah, and she wears the protection now in the body for that, but she's not the only player that plays, softball player that plays in that team. Strike 2 now for Hannah 2.
Well, feed me some information, James. Who else?
It's a star-studded lineup, Lee. Regan Lambert, Jordan Lambert, Lana Kaisler. All representative of the Sox, the Seymour Old Collegiate soccer team.
Oh, okay. Well,
and Hannah 2 is their star keeper. So good luck to Hannah here. And goes down swinging. So strikes out the last 3 batters. That's pretty impressive pitching there from Mckenzie Thompson. So 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings of the game, and we have a tied ball game, 0-0. So the Falcons will go back out to the diamond. They're just slightly distracted by some lunatics just hanging around the commentary position.
I didn't notice them. Umpires for this game, Kevin Tanner brings on plate. At first base, it's Mick Bendel, and at third, it's Steve Wallace Yarrow.
Good experience there on the field, and they will, of course, be looking forward to some opportunities in late January when Denso Bright Pegasus come to Adelaide for their spring training session to take on the Aussie Spirit. Just recently announced that tour on Channel 44.
That's fantastic.
On the SA Sports Show.
Don't forget to tune in, everybody. Channel 44.
Should be fantastic. So Taz Straps throws that first one in there for a strike, and it's Megan Williams now. Lee, I saw Megan firsthand last year when she was playing at Seacombe, and a terrific player. I mean, solid as a rocket at shortstop, and battles hard every time she goes into the box. But this year, Lee, maybe the change of environment at Port Adelaide has done her the world of good. She's having her best season of her career by far. She's hitting .414.
She would have taken that last year.
Now, let's put it into perspective here. 250 is a pretty good batting average, and she's hitting .414 and just being a leader for this young Port Adelaide side.
That's just been a big plus for him, hasn't it?
She gets a change-up or a drop ball.
Yeah, 2 in this innings. That's interesting.
Yeah, so into a full count.
Yeah, in my humble opinion, I think that's her best pitcher. The pitch, the change-up, throws it with great control and accuracy.
Williams pulls that inside pitch foul, and we've still got a full count. So we're actually probably looking to Megan to stand up for the Magpies in this game, because they failed in the first inning, so they really want to get off to a good start. And there you go, she's picked up a walk, and that's her 3rd walk of the year, and the leadoff is on again. Now, They need to be able to move her around though, and up to bat. It's a Catuzzo, it's Emily Catuzzo, and she really needs to get the ball into play here, Lee.
Has to bunt the ball.
Goes for the first one, and it comes off Tonkin's glove. Fleming tries to come up with the play, but it's not in time. And Catuzzo gets after that first pitch, moving that base runner around, and the Magpies have got runners at first and second. And up to bat now. It's first time looking at her as a pitcher, first time looking as a batter here on Spacequake Sport. It's Mckenzie Thompson.
Yes, they looked like they played a hit and run then because the runner was off on the pitch just about.
Again, the first pitch, and it's in the 5-6 hole. The throw goes home from Hannah too at left field and holds that runner up at third base. And it was probably the right call there from Coach Sims because it was on the spot, and anytime you can get the ball in Belle White's hands, it's in safe hands. We watched the replay, up to karaoke as it's known by some. No, she probably wouldn't have made that, and
cut down, that would have been a waste.
So back-to-back hits, lead-off walk, and we've got loaded bases with none out. All of a sudden, Port Adelaide are really dangerous here.
Yeah. And it's the Daly River dasher, Letitia Marionia.
G'day to everyone in Daly River. Swings at that change of pace.
Well, I suppose if you're going to miss the pitch, you might as well miss it by 3 metres.
She has a little bit of a wry smile on her face, and no doubt about it, she'll be looking to get this ball into play, no doubt. Another change-up, fouls it off this time. Just lunging for it a little there, Lee. She's getting on the front foot. She needs to keep her hands back a little. And
patience. Patience. I think I'd be going again with the change-up. They always say never throw 2 in a row. I think I'd throw another one.
Curve on the outside, and Belle White, you couldn't have a better senior player pitching to as a young pitcher. So
no, that's right, but she just tried to get her to nibble at it.
And she gets it on that change up, Lee. So good call in the end as the first couple of drops of rain start to fall on our commentary position here. That's the first out, and importantly for Sturt, it's 1 out, but the base is still loaded with Caitlin Catuzzo now up to bat.
Sister Caitlin.
Low in the zone for strike 1. However, you know, she's had a lot of walks this year, 7 as a matter of fact, Lee. She's one of the league leaders in walks. Low for ball 2. And
what do you put that down to, James? Just a good eye while in the batting box, or pitcher hasn't obliged there was something to hit?
She's been impressively, that's for sure. But I think she's been a very solid performer in the bottom half of the order for the Magpies, and she was one of the ones that helped them break that 600-day drought when they won their first game against Seacombe a couple of weeks ago. Got a key walk at a key moment of the game, and Jade Peterson doesn't throw many walks, Lee.
No, and they need something from the bottom 2 hitters here.
Well, low again, low in the zone again, and she's gone to a 2-2 count, and Lee, I was hoping, but that rain is coming. Change up is high and out of the zone. Now, the new pitching rules suggest that it's got to be a full ball above the knee and a full ball below the sternum now. When it used to be, you know, knee and sternum. Catuzzo gets that ball up the middle, and it's going to score a run. What a great throw from Maddie Cameron at centre field. Reduces the damage to just a single run, and there you go. Caitlin Catuzzo comes up with the hit, so well done. Well done to break the game open now. It's still loaded bases, it's still 1 out. And Port Adelaide have got the first run on the board. And you know, in the games recently in this Adelaide competition, it's been so tight. That first run's vital.
Exactly, exactly. Well, what will young Ella do here? put the ball down somewhere.
Yeah, Ella Forrester, the new hitter, gets a piece of that one, foul. And I mentioned earlier that she's been a Dragons player. She was in the under 15 regional team for South Australia last year, and she really is. So that only makes her, 15 years of age at the moment. So gets a piece of that ball, but only back to the pitcher. Will play home. Okay, so the out was made. It's a force home. And White couldn't quite get the throw across as the runner seemed to impede a little, but nothing really doing there. As we watch the replay, Tash makes the right play at home. Belle White takes the base. Oh, it's just, they just clashed feet there at the moment. So obviously Catuzzo trying to score the run. And Belinda White also just trying to make the out. So
yeah, well,
with
the two out, it's Taylor and George. So we're at the top of the lineup for the Magpies. See what Taylor can do. Bring in another run.
She gets a piece of that ball and it's going right side. Hannah Too's got a job to get out there and it lands in the gap. Thompson scores. Catuzzo scores. And Ella Forrester holds up on third. Talia stands up at second. A 2-run shot lead.
Yeah.
And she continues a very impressive season. I mentioned before a 320 batting average, a 500 on-base average, and now she can add 2 RBIs onto her tally.
And that's what left-handers can do. They can hit the ball. They can hit opposite field. Ada Brinket-Tree comes to mind. Put something up wide and high for her. She'll hit it out of the fence on that side of the diamond. So well done.
Gets her hands out to the ball, and with 2 out, the runners were always going. Just on the replay screen, we saw those 2-run score, and now Port Adelaide are out to the 3-run lead. Kelsey Barker fouling that one off. Kelsey's only played a couple of games this year, or a few games this year, but she's still hitting 300, and she's playing in the Central District Softball Association. So shout out to the Central Districts League. They turned 50 this year, Lee.
They do, they do.
We both started our careers out north.
Centrals, yes. I'm going out to their celebration, which is on the 20th of January at the Golden Grove Rec Centre, I believe.
Honorary life member there, Lee?
Yes, I am. And I'm looking to get a couple of beers or something like that.
Oh, I don't believe you for a second.
I'll wash my hair with it. They tell me it's good for washing your hair, beer. So all the nutrients in there.
Barker fouling that one off for 2 strikes. So
she's in the under 17 state team.
Under 17 state player, yeah. So good luck to Kelsey. Gets the change up, grounds it over to Georgie Baker at first base. So Kelsey is the 3rd out of the innings for the Magpies, and they have done the damage. As we can see the rain coming down here at Adelaide Shores at Diamond Sports Park, and it's only light. It looks heavy there on that picture, but I can tell you it's only light right now, and it won't stop the game from going ahead. The fields here have been quite dry over the last few days because it's been pretty hot.
They'll be hard as rocks.
So the rain will help the playing surface, you'd think.
Yes, we'll soon see, James.
Well, we'll also see how well the pitchers can control the wet ball as well. So a spot or 2 of rain can affect the grip, but we'll see, won't we? And Sturt have now got their work cut out for them, because if it starts to get a little slippery and they're chasing 3 runs, that just makes it just a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, and they're starting with the number 9 hitter, Lauren Fleming, the shortstop for the Sturt Falcons, and then they're at the top of the lineup. So I'm sure they'll want to come back hard this innings. But great start in that innings for Port. 3 runs, a lot of runs.
Well, they've started off each inning quite well. They've had the leadoff runner get on base, but they haven't been able to capitalise. So full credit to the Port Adelaide defence for that. But can she stand up for the Falcons? First pitch, Megan Williams at shortstop's going to field that one and fire it across for the first out on the first pitch. So didn't work out as planned now for Sturt, but good aggressive hitting.
I think Megan Williams, I was so impressed with her all last season when she was playing for your team, the Seacombe Tigers, and she's just continued on in that defensive vein and added her batting to it this year.
Such a great leader as well, on and off the field, and you know, she's selfless as well, Lee. Like she'll put someone else's problems before her own, you know, particularly for the younger players as well. And she was actually named team player of the year last year for her team. So
fantastic, well deserved.
So she's made that transition to a new club quite well, and like I mentioned before, just having a standout season with the bat and terrific again in the field.
Yes, and full credit to her.
Bricketry pulls that low pitch to second base. Ella Forrester comes up with the play. Great play from young Forrester for the second out of the inning. So the dangerous Brinketry just applies that little bit of extra pressure on the defence, and the young state representative came up with the play.
Yes, and I think that, in my opinion, is one way to attack Ada, is just get her the force her to hit the ball to the infield. She hits it between the infields, well, forget about it. She's going to beat that throw.
Okay, so 2 outs now, and we're up to Rachel Tonkin now. She did move the runner around in the first inning, but it was a ground out from what I remember.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what...
ground out back to the pitcher, so she needs to get the ball in the gap this time. Yeah, it was a good hitting count. It was probably always going to come with a 2-0 count. So, but it's good to see a few pitches when your first 2 batters have been dismissed quite early. So, seeing a few more pitches. Fouls that one off, and we're at a 2-2 count now.
And don't you just love it when you score multiple runs in one innings and then you come out and are really tight defensively the next innings, just to back it up.
Well, that's what the coach is always looking for and hoping for. So another great pitch on the outside. Ella Forrest is going to cut up with a play here, but the speed of Tonkin and perhaps the pace of the ball off the bat, so she took the pace off with a half swing or a check swing. As we watch the replay, she squares up, spokes at the outside pitch, and able to beat that out. Great call from Mick Bendel, umpiring on first base. Sarah Tonkin.
And sometimes when you're playing at second base, you don't need the measured throw. You need just rip it from the shoulder and just cut down the time. But she can run.
Well, if you use the momentum, you know, attack the ball, you can throw it underarm, and that's going to get there as quick as well. And probably a little bit more accurate as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sarah Tonkin has been quite aggressive and chased 2 low pitches. She's behind in the count with 2 strikes. So Mckenzie Thompson keeps it low, and Tonkin.
That's 2 she's chased.
Fouls one off, and still behind in the count 2 strikes. Now we mentioned how well Sarah's going this year. One of the 5 Sturt players that are playing in the Stars team, hitting .409 Lee, and on base of .565. So
quality player.
Yeah, she's watched that one for ball 1, just getting herself back in the count a little bit here, and after fouling one off and watching a high pitch, pokes at the ball, and that's going to drop in the gap. So not even McFarlane can run that one down,
that
Lee.
Tells you it was a good hit if she can't run it down.
So the rain seems to have subsided, but the breeze has picked up a little here. Nothing too serious, but just the paperwork starting to fly around the table here. What have you taped yours down, have you?
No, I'm just lucky, yeah.
All right, so the Tonkin sisters have got Sturt into a scoring position here. Runners on 1 and 2, and Bell takes that high pitch.
This is a very interesting situation now with the 2 on and Bell White and Maddie Cameron following. Intentional walk time, you think? Maybe not to Bell. If she gets on the base of the loaded, I'm thinking maybe give them 1.
Well, she hits this one opposite field, but doesn't bother to run out of the blocks, and it's gone foul in the right side, and Letitia's going to have to pick that one up from the weeds out there. We'll have to get Adelaide Shores onto that one, I reckon.
I think so.
They do a fantastic job, Lee. Adelaide Shores, they really look after this facility really well, and as you can see, the grass is green and the fields are flat. And
yeah,
perfect
I wonder whether they'll throw
conditions.
change up to her.
Okay, so it's a 1-on-1 count. High change up, Lee. Good call for ball 2. Tonkin sisters are waiting to get on their bikes here on first and second base. Takes that one for strike 2. So
I'm thinking the right fielder, Letitia, is the no man's land there. She needs to be more in the field of play.
she's quite shallow
Yeah.
for Belinda White, who can power the ball.
Too near the line, I think.
Pulls that one foul, and White lives again. So we heard the call from the crowd, still alive, and that is true. And when there's a breath of life in Belinda White, it's danger for the opposition.
And that's why to have the right fielder well into the field of play now, just where she is, but because Bell White very rarely hits it down the right.
It's a massive
right
gap
line.
as well, isn't
Yeah.
it? She gets her swinging. Mckenzie Thompson comes up with a great change-up and retires the side with another strikeout. So Thompson proving to be difficult for the Falcons to get hit away, and with 2 runners on, Belinda White's going to leave them scoreless after 3 innings.
And won't the Magpies get a lot of heart out of that?
Well,
White.
they've got to come out aggressive here, put another run on here, Lee, that's for sure.
And just keep edging away.
Now, I've been handed a piece of paper, a score update. I can't believe it, Lee. I had to read it twice. After 3 innings, bottom team Glenelg are leading West Torrens 5 runs to 3. On the other
Have
field.
you verified that?
Well, it was handed to me, a trustworthy source, and that game starts half an hour early, so we should get a couple more updates throughout this game. We continue to go live here on Spacequake Sports, and I cannot forget to mention our great supporters. You might see them in the broadcast just in the background. Bob Burns Blinds, MC Sport, Hotel Royal, Signs of the Time, and we can't bring you those broadcasts without them. So thanks very much to all our supporters, and we are going to get underway in the bottom of the 3rd inning with Victoria McFarlane. Lays down that running bun up the first base line, and she is super fast, Lee. Beats out that throw, and I said it before, they need to come up with another run to continue this aggressive gameplay and really put the Falcons out of the game early. And we'll watch this replay. She gets that running bun down, and wow. That was
easy.
fast.
Standing at first base looking for a cup of tea.
Megan Williams gets
time.
up to the first pitch. Is going out to be taken at shortstop. Great play by Fleming, and calls out Hannah too as well to confidently make a good call for that and take a catch. And unfortunate for the Magpies. I'm sure that was a hit and run. Coach Sims is a very aggressive style coach. So.
Yes.
Again, that hit and run was put on. First pitch, and Catuzzo manages to foul this one off, and McFarlane is doing sprint laps at the moment. She's,
I think
up
so.
and
She's
back.
doing wind sprints. I'd like to see a running race between McFarlane, Lambert, Jordan Variety, and Ada Brinket-Tree.
Oh, you know, I'm backing in that one, and she takes off for this one safely. Taking on the arm of Belinda White. Thank you very much, Lee. And she is safe at second. Let's
And what
watch
an
this
asset she's
replay.
going to be. for the Stars, James.
Outside pitch. Maybe it was the change of pace. You saw that. She hesitated slightly. That ball's come off the bat a second time. And that is out of the box. So a good call from umpire Tannebring. Unfortunately, the bunt was too good that it bounced back up and hit her a bat for a second time. So we watched the replay. 1-2 hits of the bat, and you can't do that. Can't hit the bat twice if you're out of the box. So Thompson gets a piece of that straight to the centre fielder, Maddie Cameron. So, wow, Port Adelaide looked aggressive there, didn't they? Lead off on from a running bunt. Then you had a hit and run. Then you had, but that was caught. Then you had a second hit and run, which went foul. Then you had a stolen base. So, well, it was all happening. And Mckenzie Thompson came up and first pitch again, getting after it.
And not sitting on their lead, James. They're not sitting on the 3. They want more.
Good sign. Good sign from Port Adelaide. And
aggression.
And Coach Sims' message is clear from the stands, at least anyway. He wants his girls to be aggressive and really put their foot down.
When in doubt, give it a clout.
Your way last time. Talia. Let's go with the working black team. Keep off the base. Keep off the base. Let's work. Let's work. Went up the first pitch last time. Be smart. Went up the first pitch. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get things underway back in the 4th inning, and 44 minutes in, and it's going to be the centre fielder, Maddie Cameron, up to bat. The aggression continues from both sides, Lee.
Yep.
And we've seen a lot of first pitch swings in this game already. And I mean, if anyone's going to do it in the Sturt side, it's going to be Cameron. She's an aggressive player. She's hitting 308, which is a bit of a surprise, but on base is 647. And that probably comes from how hard she hits the ball. And again, we talked about the offensive pressure from getting the ball into play, but when you've got the power that Cameron does, it just adds that little bit extra.
Yeah, that's true. And then she's followed in by Georgie Baker and Tash Straps, both hitters of the ball.
So Thompson came in a little harder then, and meeting her early as well is Cameron fouling that ball down the left field line.
I tell you what, I think if I was Mckenzie, I'd be throwing this change up a lot tonight, especially against the big gun batters.
Well, that's using the Falcons' weapon against them, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cameron pokes at that change of pace, and it's not going to beat the infield. And that shortstop in Megan Williams. So a comfortable catch in the end, but a good battle, nevertheless, between Thompson and Cameron. Now, you mentioned the next hitter just previous, and that is Georgie Baker.
Yes, well, George will be looking to get something going here.
Again, the first pitch doesn't beat the shortstop in Williams, firing it across for the second out, and she is on tonight. Great play up the middle. She at full stretch. Didn't need to get sideways on it, but get across there really quickly. Good transition with the footwork and a good arm as well over across to Catuzzo.
And George gave herself a chance, a good chance, but beaten by a
First
better play.
pitch again is going to go to the shortstop for the third play in 3 pitches. And Megan Williams with a trifecta of plays in 3 pitches retires the Sturt Falcons' 4th inning. Now, Tash got a reasonably good piece of this ball, perhaps just off the end of the bat a little, and comfortably made in the end, that play, and Megan Williams is red hot.
Yep. Yes, it's where Lauren Fleming, conversely on the Sturt side, is hardly out of play, I think. Probably one.
Took that
a
catch.
Yeah.
Last inning. And
yeah, it's funny how games go, isn't it? You know, you can have your shortstop. You would have noticed that a few times with Jordan. You know, Lambert sometimes gets lots of plays. Everything works beautifully, and other times one play a game.
Yeah, there's a couple of key players in the game, in the lineup, isn't there, for teams? I mean, obviously the battery, your pitcher and your catcher, but after that, you really look for leadership from your shortstop and your centre fielder, and they can be barometers for your team as well.
Exactly. And they're usually the people with the strongest arms in their defence, not withstanding the catcher.
Well, Letitia's up to bat now and watched that first pitch for a ball, and that second pitch came in low and inside, but still capturing the edge for strike one.
Well, she was all at sea to the change-ups, and I haven't seen one this turn at bat until now.
Well, the change of pace negates her power. Now, she's one of the powerhouses in the competition, Lee. We saw her come up with that shot that tied the game against West Torrens, their first draw of the year, and I mean, she's hitting okay. She's hitting 190 with a 304 on base, but 6 RBIs, Lee. So she comes up when needed, and there you go. So Fleming's made that play that we mentioned. So that's another catch taken by the shortstop, and
that was off a change-up too.
Yeah,
so she learnt from her previous turn at bat.
Yeah, Marianne getting a good piece of the ball, but is the first out, unfortunately, for the Magpies. So we're back to Catuzzo now. She hit that RBI single. First pitch again, Fleming, the shortstop, makes the play. As easy as that, she thinks. It's coming for both teams now. The shortstop, what's that, 5 plays in a row now
I
going
think
to shortstop?
I must pick out another position and see if we can get them into the game.
Young
not so
Forrester.
much pressure. Sorry, James. Not so much pressure on the young Forrester this time.
Change-ups in there for strike one, and probably a good thing. You know, you don't always have to swing in that first pitch. Sometimes it's the best one to go for, but it's also a good tactic not to always swing at it. Fouls that one off, so she's got behind in the count. It's 2 strikes, and a good head on the young player in that she's watched one, she's fouled one off, but she chases this one, unfortunately. That's the experience of the battery for the Sturt Falcons, and except for that one Port Adelaide inning where they scored their 3 runs, it's been such a tight contest. So Sturt need to have a big inning just like the way Port Adelaide did, and it all started from getting the lead off on and then contributions from each of the players following. So
certainly. What games are coming up, James? What's on Saturday? Have you got?
Yeah, I've got the games on. So we mentioned earlier that Glenelg are playing West Torrens. Now, obviously the game's not over yet, but it was 5-3 in favour of Glenelg after 3, and their previous 2 encounters, West Torrens ran out pretty easy winners. Like one game was by 15 runs, I think. So that could be an upset, and this one could also be as well, as we see Port Adelaide holding the league. But this weekend, live on Spacequake Sports, it's probably the game of the round. It's Walkerville Cats, who are the informed side of the competition, up against the Georgia and Amber Hood-led Hills Heat. So that's 2 o'clock this Saturday, live here on Spacequake Sports. West Torrens plays Seacombe, Glenelg plays Sturt, and we're going to get things underway here in the top of the 5th inning.
New hitter of the game, it's Abby Mossman, replacing Hannah 2.
So Sturt ringing the changes here in the top of the 5th. Abby Mossman trying to catch everyone by surprise with a first pitch bunt attempt, but it's gone foul, and Is it really a surprise? Everyone's been going at first pitch so far, Lee.
Yes, I've noticed, James.
Thompson gets that one out of the zone, and young Abby Mossman chases that pitch for strike 2. So she's got to be disciplined here. Gets a piece of the ball off the end of the bat, but Thompson does the fielding and fires that one across for the first out. So not a bad turn at bat. It lasted 3 pitches, but she almost got that bunted in. She's going to
develop into a very good player, Abby Mossman, like a lot of the Sturt juniors.
All right, Lauren Fleming now up for Sturt. It's not really a tongue twister. I'm just battling the man flu at the moment a little.
Oh, okay. May I suggest you keep it to yourself, sir?
Yeah, I'll keep my distance, mate. Great pitch from Thompson. That's the change of pace that she's using as a weapon now.
Been impressive, hasn't she?
Yeah, that rise ball and that change up just really is keeping the Falcons at bay, and gets Fleming chasing on that outside pitch for another strikeout. I might get you to count those strikeouts up for me, Lee, but Thompson just continues on her merry way. 2 times through the Sturt lineup, and she's held them scoreless. 2 outs in the 5th inning. So that's a 6th strikeout of the game so far in 5 innings. So, wow, 6 strikeouts gives her, 22 strikeouts for the season. Her that rise ball and that change up just continues to be effective, and now she's battling up against Ada Brinketree, who got a walk in the game's original leadoff, but grounded out to Forrester in her last turn. So gets that one in for a strike. So she's getting back in the count here. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And she gets on a lot, Ada. So that's she'll be looking at a beautiful pitch then.
Another great change up from Thompson, and evens up the count at 2-2. Lee, I've been handed another piece of paper that says the scores are unchanged after 5 innings on the other game there, between the Glenelg Rebels and the West Torrens Eagles, and we're coming up to probably about 5 or 6 minutes left to go in that game. We could see an upset.
Or even another draw.
Who knows? It's been the season for them, and Brinketree chases that high pitch, and the count is full, and there's 2 outs, and it's the top of the 5th, and gee, Sturt are running out of opportunities here, Lee.
You've been impressed with Mckenzie. I certainly have.
Yeah. This is her 4th game for Port Adelaide. She's got a win and a draw under her belt, and tries to get Brinketree chasing a high pitch, but she's too good a batter to chase something like that out of the zone. So she's got herself her 2nd walk of the game, and it's 2 out, but you know, Brinketree could be at 3rd in a blink of an eye here. Goes on the pitch. Maybe even could have stood up there, but she slides in anyway and safely at 2nd, and now the runner's in scoring position. So you would think any hit to the outfield, Coach Gardner would be sending Brinketree home to score and break that duck egg that's sitting in the scoreboard. But Tonkin's only managed to hit the ball straight back to Mckenzie Thompson, and she makes the 2nd play of the inning. She's had a couple of those straight back to the pitcher, and Port Adelaide, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, after 5 innings, lead commandingly over the Sturt Falcons, 3 runs to 0.
Yes, and at this moment, Sturt do not look likely, but we saw that with the game with Hills and Seacombe on Saturday, game I was doing. Seacombe looked like they had them shot, the Hills team, leading 3-1, and then all of a sudden, multiple runs. 10 batters produced the runs for Hills, and they finished up winning 7-3.
Yeah, they just overrun the Tigers on the weekend, and I didn't see the game live, but I caught the replay on Spacequake Sports, and it was a very dominant performance from the Hills Heat, and Coach Hood would be absolutely stoked to be sharing top spot with the Tigers right now.
Yep.
So this season, you know, although there was a couple of blowouts earlier on, has really tightened up, and with the way the results have been going, I mean, and it's, although it's 3-0 now, this game's still anyone's, and you just mentioned holding the nerve, basically, and that's what Port Adelaide need to do here. They need to stick to their guns. They need to get the ball into play and move those base runners around and try and put an extra couple of runs on the board.
Exactly. And Talia George will be trying to get something going here.
Well, Talia's done okay so far in this game. She's the lead-off for the Magpies, and got that shot last inning. This one goes to shortstop and fumbles, and Talia George, that left-hand bat, has done the job again. So she gets on base, and all important for the Magpies. So Kelsey Barker's going to be trying to move her teammate around and see if the aggression continues. Surprisingly, there was no play on that, and the ball was down the middle. So maybe a bit of cat and mouse going on here between both teams. And
I think so.
There you go, bunt, second pitch. That's another second hit, but she's in the box.
Yeah.
So we've seen two examples of this, Lee, of the ball bouncing up and hitting the bat after the bunt, and Barker was in the box this time around.
Yes.
So that's the difference. If the ball hits the bat a second time when you're still in the box, it's not out. However, if you've taken a step out of the box, you will be called out. Low. And Belinda White does her best attempt to frame that pitch, but umpire Tannebring is too experienced for that.
I haven't seen too many the Blues change their decision on that.
White picks off George at first, and she must have just got in between the gap of first base fielder Baker. Let's watch this on replay. This is going to be great to watch. It's an outside pitch for a strikeout. Fires it off one knee, and you know what, Lee? That was terrific base running from George. She took that outside pitch. Now, great shot from McFarland, but up to the challenge is centre fielder Maddie Cameron, and she says, if you want my spot in the Stars team, you've got to do better than me. And she was up for the challenge there, Maddie Cameron, and takes a good catch. And gee, McFarland got most of that lead.
That was
she
deep.
Powered it deep to centre field, and Sturt get away with that one there. It's 2 out now, and George is on first after a good base running. I was just mentioning that she took the outside corner of the base, which is probably the only thing that got her safe.
Yeah,
because it was a great throw from White.
Either one of two things are going to come at the base, hands or feet. Not much good putting a tag on people that their body's halfway across the base, and you do see it, even at A grade, even at this level.
1-1 count here on Williams. Goes after that one, chops it to second base, and Rachel Tonkin
got a nice bounce.
Yeah, she got a kind bounce and then got that play across to first, and Sturt have got out of trouble here, and not before Port Adelaide had threatened again, but after 5 complete innings, it's still the Port Adelaide Magpies leading 3 runs to 0.
Not sound healthy, Chief. Yeah. I think it's the change in the weather too. It's perfect now, isn't it? Perfect. Weather-wise. That game will be just about over there.
Yeah, we're expecting a result from the second diamond here at West Beach, Softball HQ. And wow, that would be a surprise to see Glenelg get up. They hadn't won a game yet, but they did have a good draw against the Magpies on Saturday. It was 2-2 draw, and Glenelg got on top early, and it was Port Adelaide's star centre fielder Victoria McFarlane that hit a towering 2-run home run to tie the game, and that's what the score stayed. So
well, that was a good sign for the Rebels, and obviously they carried it into the game against West Torrens on Diamond 2. So
well, their next opponent is Sturt, and that's who is playing at the moment, the Sturt Falcons, and leading off the 6th inning is their third baser, Sarah Tonkin.
Getting through the innings, aren't we? An hour played, and we're into the 6th.
High change up for a ball and a 1-1 count, and Tonkin got that shot earlier in the game and wasn't able to score, but Williams has got another play there, a great catch. Got on her bike there and showed some good lateral movement to take a comfortable catch in the end. And
some hard running from the shortstop, Chicken Williams. Continuing on that defensive stuff from last year, because she was super for you last year, Seacombe Tigers.
Yeah, well, for the Magpies, she's been probably even better. So, so a great get for the Magpies this season, and the Port defence are really making quick work of this Falcons lineup. So Belinda White up for the Falcons, and
that's a beautiful, well-controlled pitch, isn't that change-up?
Sure was, sure was. I was just going to say that White will be looking to be a team leader here for the Falcons and try and get the ball rolling. So look for her to get a good, aggressive piece of the ball. She'll wait for her pitch, though. She's a good, disciplined hitter, and you don't often see Belinda White strike out, and I doubt very much we'll see her strike out a second time in a row. Fouling that one off for strike 2, so a 2-2 count. And Belinda is one of the hardest workers you'll see. She was in the cages earlier today, then she was out in the Barrett Reserve here at Adelaide Shores Precinct practicing her throws.
Well, she's got where she has today by the effort she's put in. It's about attitude. You know, people can teach you the skills, but you need to bring the attitude and work, your work ethic. It's got to be more work, more work. Sure, don't work your arm out so it's hanging like a limp piece of licorice, but just bring the attitude, and that's what she does. Look at that.
Fouls that change up. Yep. So she's battling here against Thompson, but well, you mentioned it, Lee. It's the work ethic, and I tell you now that if there's any young players listening or watching back home, if you want an idol or someone to look up to, this is the woman to do it to. She is an exceptional athlete, and she deserves all the accolades that she's had in her career and all the successes and the World Championship bronze medals and the career overseas, and it's all from hard work. So let's see how she goes here. She pops that one over to the right side. Great catch from Mariana at right field, and that's the second out. And well, that was good ground she made up there.
She did.
You called her the dasher earlier on.
Yes, well, I think appropriately so.
That replay shows that ball was probably over the middle of the plate, but
made her look easy in the end. Looked a bit more difficult from here.
Cameron up to bat, goes after the first pitch, and it goes straight up in the air to third base, Kelsey Barker, excuse me, and 3 quick outs again. So 3 up and 3 down for the Falcons, and Port Adelaide lead in the middle of the 6th, 3 runs to 0.
And the Falcons have one more chance. We've
just got word from the game over the hill, Lee. Glenelg Rebels have won their first game of the year against West Torrens. So congratulations to the Rebels, running out victors, 8 runs to 3, believe it or not, Lee.
I don't believe it.
Well, that just really throws a spanner into the works of this season.
And hasn't it made this season more interesting, you know, where we've had seasons after seasons where 2 teams dominate the rest of the competition? You just never know what's going to happen. You
never know. I was talking to a very good friend of mine and yours, Lee, Steph Trzynski. I
know the name.
She's finishing her degree over in the University of California. In the next couple of weeks, you know, within a month's time, she'll be back home wearing the Rebels uniform. So she'll be very pleased to hear of their victory tonight. So, Steph, I know you'll be watching back home or back at your college in California. Hello. And I hope you enjoyed that news. Great first pitch shot from Catuzzo to get the Port Adelaide Magpies up and running here in the bottom of the 6th. A lead-off single, and bringing up to bat the pitcher, Mckenzie Thompson. Gee, I just saw a lightning strike out there in the distance coming from the north. Wow, that was a big crack of lightning. We're 20 minutes away from the completion of this game, and thanks to David and Spacequake Sports, have a look at that weather that's coming in. A big band of heavy weather looking like it's coming our way. So will we get through it in the next 20 minutes, Lee?
I think we will. Well, Port only have to get 3 outs, don't they? Easier said than done, of course.
Get in now, get in now. Get when you can drive, 19.
Okay, so we got a pinch runner. Thompson goes after this one, hits it opposite field. Sarah Tonkin makes the play to the lead runner. We've got some changes around the diamond here, Lee. Yep. That's Millie Fidge.
It is Millie Fidge. First pitch, he's in the action.
So the shortstop gets a play. It gets the pinch runner from Port Adelaide. So that'll be her night, number 21. Jodie Cates.
Yeah.
Sorry, apologies. Jodie Cates came in to pinch run for the Magpies. Mariana watches that one low for a ball, and it gets away from catcher White, and Thompson is on second. So welcome to the game, Millie Fidge. She got her play, the lead runner at shortstop, and just that young brigade for the Falcons just coming through, and credit to Coach Gardner as well, playing the young players.
Give them a sniff.
Particularly when they're chasing 3 runs. So they're looking for a spark, and she's going after her kids to provide it. That one getting away from Straps there, bouncing behind Mariana, and she's got herself into a good batting count here with 3 balls and no strikes.
I think Coach Sims was asking, did the ball hit you? And
hits the ball up the middle. Thompson's going to be held up because you're not going to beat Cameron's arm, and Mariana gets a single, and the runners are at the corners.
And great running to go to a backup position by pitcher Tash Straps. A lot of pitchers don't do that, and invaluable it is. Go somewhere, get into the action.
So Belinda White just calls a timeout, showing her experience there, and no doubt be talking through the 1-3 split tactics with her young shortstop and the infield. So they will be, if I was out there leading the chat as the catcher for the team, I'd be saying, let's not give up any more runs. Okay, so if that runner takes off, you're going to cut that off. Bunt play, so aggressive from the batting team, but it's gone foul. So, sorry, Lee, I was just saying that the infield play would probably be the second base to cut this throw off, just to make sure that runner doesn't score.
Yep.
Or you fire the ball down the third base line. But Falcons have got their work cut out for them, because Coach Sims has put a bunt on for Catuzzo.
watches that one go outside. Mariana only gets a extended lead off at first. So not looking to take on the arm of Belinda White, but they're in a very good position here with runners at first and third. Low, there she goes, she takes off. Fidge has got to come up with a play. The runner from third holds there. So in the end, the Falcons make a good play, and Belinda White throws across to Millie Fidge. Belinda might kill me for saying this, but she's half her age. So, so a terrific play. So from the veteran of the team to the young future star of the team, no doubt about it.
Well, Fidge will be thinking, how easy is this game?
We've made a couple of plays this innings already, and that's the 2 outs so far. Catuzzo gets a good piece of the ball, and it's going to fall short of the centre fielder in Cameron, and Catuzzo's got her second hit of the game, bringing in the 4th run, and Port Adelaide's lead extends. And we watch the replay. Catuzzo gets a great pitch. Cameron couldn't do anything about that, and
sensibly held the ball. No need to throw it then when the runner's already gone looking for a cup of tea.
First pitch goes out to left field, and a good catch taken there by Mossman to end the bottom of the 6th inning, and Port Adelaide do the damage. They put that 4th run on the board, and we're going to go to the top of the 7th, and it's going to be Sturt's last 3 chances in the top of the 7th.
And that's what the Magpies will need, 3 outs.
So we had a score update before, and we can confirm that it was 8 runs to 3, but Lee, it was 3 hits to Glenelg. So, gee, maybe there was some walks or some errors in the game, and Glenelg's 8 runs came off just 3 hits. So, unbelievable
Something's
result.
gone wrong there, James.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
Big time.
So it's, yeah, we were just getting an update there, Lee, and wow, Michelle Mortez, it was the hero of the game for Sturt. So congratulations to her, and we could see another upset. So Port Adelaide is currently sitting in 6th position on the ladder, and Glenelg sitting in 7th position. The bottom 2 teams of the competition are looking likely to be the 2 winners tonight.
Yes, it's well, there's 3 outs to get, and we saw what happened in that Port game where they managed 5 runs in the last innings. West Torrens couldn't get the 3 outs in time to prevent the draw.
Strike 1, low in the zone for Thompson, and
hasn't she been super impressive?
she's been terrific. Now, Sturt went down on the weekend to Walkerville 4-0, so it's the same scoreline right now as their game was on Saturday. So last Wednesday night, they had a 5-run tiebreaker inning to win the game against Seacombe. So that was top place Seacombe. What a turnaround 7 days can make. Georgie Baker fouling that one off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So I was just saying what a difference 7 days can make. Beating the top side, and now they're trailing 4-0 to second bottom team Port Adelaide. Thompson throws a high rise for ball 2, and Baker's got herself into a 2-2 count. Tremendous game so far from Thompson, just giving up the 3 hits so far, Lee. That one gets away from Baker, but she's going to arrive safely on a drop 3rd strike. So although the 7th strikeout for the game for Thompson, it will go down as an error from the catcher. Well, that breathes a little bit of life into the Falcons lineup. Tash Straps gets all of that one. That's going to go into the fence. Baker turns second. Straps stands up at second. Baker arrives at home to score the first run of the game for the Falcons. And I said breath of life. Well, there it is. They get a hit complimentary of the stand-up double to Tash Straps. What a terrific piece of the ball, and it brings up young Abby Mossman now. You know, it's been a very short career so far for Mossman, but well, she won't have too many big turns at bat like this this early in her career. She really needs to keep the ball rolling. We see the replay, Tash Straps standing up safely at second, and that got the Sturt bench going.
Yep. Well, Abby's looking quite comfortable in the batter's box at her only appearance so far.
She's wearing a watch.
Now's the chance.
She's wearing a watch, Lee. You've never seen that in a softball diamond before.
No.
Mossman chasing that first pitch for a strike. Change up low, so good. That's good from Mossman.
Yeah.
One ball, one strike. Now we work, now we work. Hit the batter, hit the batter.
Tash Strap standing on second. Mossman chases that high pitch for strike two. Well, you don't want to give too much away, Lee, but you'd probably be keeping that ball up and out of the zone here. She's chased two high pitches.
I think she might throw change up.
And we see the high strike for the second out, a strikeout, and that's the 8th strikeout for Thompson.
And Abby wearing the watch, well, it was time for her to go back to the bench.
Okay, Millie Fidge up to bat now for the Falcons. That was the first out of the inning. Apologies to the drop third strike was counts as a strike. Still counts as a strikeout, but one out now for the Falcons. Millie Fidge looking to drive that ball left field, and she's gone behind in the count early with 2 strikes. Thompson delivers and Fidge fouls that one off, and Lee, that was a great cut.
Must get this batter out, Port, because we're at the top of the lineup with Ada next.
And on the opposite side of the coin here, Lee, this ball must be put into play here for the Falcons. It's low in the zone, and a drop third strike, having to make that play over to first base. So interesting enough, 3rd strike out of the inning, but only the 2nd out. And we're back to the top of the order for Sturt in Ada Brinketree. So with 2 out in the top of the 7th, it's Sturt's very last chance, and they still need to put 3 on the board. Thompson firing that one in. That came in a big quick.
It's got some heat.
She does throw that ball hard when she throws it up.
But you look at her. You've seen her for the entire game, James. She could throw like this all day, I'd suggest.
Took a little bit off that one, and a wry smile. I think she may have hit that. So look at her roll her eyes there on the monitor, Lee. She got away with that one. It's a 1-1 count, and Brinketree gets the ball into play. And Coturzo makes a great catch, and believe it or not, last year's premiers have just gone down to last year's wooden spooners. 4 runs to 1. Congratulations to the Port Magpies. A terrific 4 runs to 1 victory over the Sturt Falcons, and you've really got to give credit to the defence of the Magpies. Williams at shortstop, Coturzo catching very well, young Baker at 3rd. You go to even younger player at 2nd base, and Ella Forrester. It was a complete performance from the Magpies defence.
Exactly, and they fully deserved their win tonight, so they just keep improving all the time.
Well, Lee, let's wrap things up here nice and quick. I'm going to go and grab Mckenzie Thompson from the Port Adelaide Magpies, the winning pitcher. We can have our first chat with her, I reckon.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Wow, what a terrific game here on Spacequake Sports. Port Adelaide Magpies running out winners 4 runs to 1 in a terrific night with terrific conditions here at West Beach.
Yes, certainly.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up here from the commentary position. We'll be back on Saturday for the big clash between the Walkerville Cats and the Hills Heat, live on Spacequake Sports at 2 o'clock. Well, the Port Adelaide Magpies run out victors 4 runs to 1 over the Sturt Falcons. I'm joined by Megan Williams and Mckenzie Thompson, pitcher and shortstop for the victorious Magpies. We'll start with you, Megan. What a terrific defensive play game from the Magpies today. Must be really pleased.
Yeah, very happy. We had 2 young girls come in the infield and did really well, so very happy.
Yeah, an all-round performance backing up your star import pitcher from Baltimore, Maryland. Is that right, Mckenzie? 9 strikeouts today. Is that as polished performance as you've had in a while?
In a while, yeah. It felt good, especially when you have defense like that. You can really just trust your pitches, and if they do get a hold of them, you know your defense has your back.
Yeah, one big inning where you scored the 3 runs as well, put you in the box seat. What do you put that down to? Is that hard work at training starting to pay off? Is that, you know, the team gelling?
Yeah, definitely. We've been working on our hitting and going after pitches early, so not getting behind in the count. Yeah,
we noticed that a couple of comments in during the game of aggressive first pitch and good pitch selection as well, going after good pitches. We'll wrap this up real quickly, but I'll give you a chance to say hello to some people back home, Mckenzie. I know you want to.
Hi, Dad. I know you're watching.
Thanks very much, guys, for joining us. So there you go. We're going to wrap things up here from Adelaide Shores at West Beach. Port Adelaide Magpies running out victors 4 runs to 1. We'll see you next week.